Good morning. My name is Jeremy Ron, and I'm the Public Information Officer for Incident Team Management Team 2 and the Lead Public Information Officer on the LNU Lightning Complex. Today we're going to give you a briefing for the current status of this incident. But first, I'd like to first and foremost apologize for any issues regarding the audio on yesterday's briefing. We hopefully have that corrected for today. Let's begin with just kind of a statewide summary. Over 14,000 firefighters are on the front lines of more than 24 major fires and lightning complexes across California. Last night, firefighters aggressively worked to strengthen containment lines. In anticipation of the upcoming weather patterns, crews continue to perform firing operations to burn away vegetation in an attempt to slow down and stop the spread of wildfires. Beginning this morning, a red flag warning has been issued by the National Weather Service for lightning with very little or no rain. The winds will generally be light, however, erratic, gusty winds of up to 65 miles an hour may occur. This dry lightning will likely hamper efforts to contain the current fires and may spark new fires. With this extreme conditions we're in and the fire danger expected, it's critical that everyone in California take steps to prevent sparking a wildfire. For more information, please go to readyforwildfire.org. For this incident specifically, we do have a 24-hour information line. If you need information, please call area code 707-967-4207. Now I'd like to turn it over for an operations update from Chief Waters. Chief?
Good morning, Chris Waters, Operations Section Chief for the LNU Lightning Complex with an operational update. I'm going to start off a little fire orientation. We've had fire broken into two major zones using the Sonoma County line to separate the east zone from the west zone. The west zone is primarily Sonoma County. First fire I'm going to talk about is the Myers. Feeling pretty good about the Myers and getting ready to think about starting repopulating and getting Highway 1 opened up in the next 24 to 48 hours. Moving on to one of our top priorities, which is the Walbridge fire. Walbridge fire is presenting extremely difficult conditions for fire suppression. Very steep river canyon terrain, redwood fuels, very few places to really operate efficiently, and lots of structures that have been constructed within the fire area. We have the area south of Walbridge, pretty much completely evacuated on the other side of the river from Guerneville, and we continue to move resources, dozers, hand crews and engines, aircraft to help support that operation. Moving over to the east zone and the Hennessy fire, I'm going to start out with our highest priority on this fire, which is Division Tango Tango, which is the area up in the Palisades above Calistoga. We continue to put a significant amount of effort with aircraft, crews, engines, and dozers to try and contain that fire and to keep it from moving any farther towards Highway 29 or south in the direction of Angwin. As we move up to the northern side of the fire, Division Uniform, which is the north side in between Middletown and the fire's edge, the fire continues to move slowly to the north, and right now we have dozers and engines that are up there trying to construct containment line so that we can keep it from moving any closer to Lower Lake or to Middletown. As we come down the east side of the Hennessy fire, we fired the edge of the Hennessy fire all the way from Highway 16, where it enters the Capay Valley, all the way down to Highway 80. This area actually is in patrol status all the way to where Highway 16 and County Road 40 actually meet, and they're finishing up a firing operation in that area right now. This whole area on the east side of the fire, all the way from Capay Valley down to Highway 80, is in patrol mode, and we continue to assist the Vaca Fire District with repopulation efforts and to continue to suppress nuisance fires and other activities. And as we move up from Highway 80 up towards Atlas Peak and then back up into Napa County, we continue to complete mop-up operations, and we're currently planning to do some repopulation in these areas in the next 24 to 48 hours. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Waters. Now I'd like to invite up our law enforcement partners, Sonoma County Sheriff Mark Essick and Napa County Under Sheriff John Robertson.
Good morning. There is little to report overnight from our law enforcement perspective. It was a relatively quiet night as far as it comes to evacuations and control over evacuation zones. Deputy sheriffs are still in your neighborhoods patrolling those evacuation zones, protecting your property while you are away. We'd like to remind you to please stay out of evacuation zones. They are areas that contain active fire and active fire operations. Additionally, there may be utility lines, power lines, or trees down, so there are numerous hazards inside evacuation zones. Please remain vigilant. There is possibility approaching lightning storm this evening, so it's important to, as a reminder, to follow your local government agency, whether it's Sonoma, Lake, Napa, Yolo, or Solano County government sources for official information, and continue to take care of your neighbor and stay safe. Under Sheriff Crawford has some additional details to provide you today about evacuations, and I'm going to turn it over to him.
Thank you, Sheriff Essick. As mentioned, my name is John Crawford. I'm the Under Sheriff of Napa County. Also, as mentioned, there are more evacuations certainly possible this evening. We're not saying there will be, but in light of the potential for lightning strikes, we have to be prepared. We would like you to know that when we issue these orders for evacuation, we understand it's not something to be taken lightly. There are many factors that go into these orders. We understand the toll it can take on those living in those areas, that it can cause concern, some trepidation, and the uncertainty of that time. And so we do realize that these decisions are made based on a variety of factors. Understand, please, that when an evacuation order is given, is made based on an immediate threat to life. And so we take that seriously. We take your lives seriously. The high-low siren is something that we've implemented in Napa, Solano, and Lake counties, as well as Sonoma County. If you're not familiar with that tone, I have it today, and I'm going to play it for you here briefly. That high-low siren has been equipped in all the vehicles, again, in as previously mentioned counties of Napa, Solano, Sonoma, and Lake. If you hear that sound, it is a signal to evacuate. So we would ask that you would certainly listen for that during this time, and if you hear it, please evacuate in a safe manner. If you hear the high-low, it is time to go, would be our message. Secondly, we'd also like to remind you that everyone has a sixth sense, and if you find yourself in a situation where you don't feel safe, whether you see flames or smoke or you don't, but for whatever reason you're feeling unsafe, please understand that you're empowered to make that decision to leave your property without being instructed to do so. You don't have to wait for us. You know your area, you know where you live, and you know what is normal and what is not. And so if you feel that need to evacuate, please do. To those that have already evacuated, we want to thank you for your cooperation and for your support. One of the great things about working in Napa County particularly is the support we enjoy from our community. I'm sure the others are feeling it as well in the other counties. I want to thank the deputies and officers, law enforcement officers that are out there working to keep you safe, that are away from their own families and at times evacuated as well, but working hard to do what they can to protect yourselves and property. We've been through a lot in Northern California, particularly in the last few years, with firestorms and earthquakes and the occasional flood. We get through these things by working together, and we always appreciate that about our communities, that in times of crisis such as this, we're able to work together to get through them together. We are stronger together. We will continue to be stronger together, and we will continue to get through this with your support and cooperation. I also want to take just a second to thank all of our allied law enforcement agencies that have answered our requests for mutual aid assistance outside of the area, outside of our geographical areas. And again, I can't stress this enough, working together, we will get through this together, and we will be stronger together in the end. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'd like to have our unit chief, Chief Jones, come up and have a few words.
Good morning. My name is Shauna Jones, and I'm the unit chief for the Sonoma Lake Napa unit of CAL FIRE. I'm pleased to report more resources have been arriving to help fight our fires. The LNU Lightning Complex, which includes the fires in Sonoma, Lake, Napa, Yolo, Colusa, Solano counties, and Napa, remains the #1 priority for needed resources as they become available from other incidents that are utilizing their services throughout the state of California and other incoming resources from out of state. Despite the increase of resources, we are definitely far from getting these fires handled. We are not out of the woods by far. Tonight, or today, a weather red flag warning was issued, which encompasses pretty much the entire northern half of the state of California and central coastal areas for lightning, erratic winds. So what this means is that any lightning that comes through, based on the fact that we have so many resources that are affected and stretched thin throughout California, it's going to likely result in additional fires. We do have a plan in order to immediately attack those fires, but it's going to take some work. So what I'm asking from all of you is, with the weather predicted, the red flag warning issued, I can't stress enough the importance of being prepared to leave. You just heard from our law enforcement officials what they're asking you to do. I'm also asking you, all of our fire suppression personnel out in the field, everyone wants your #1, you are #1 in our priority for your safety and the safety of our firefighters and all of our cooperators out on the front lines. So you need to have a plan, be prepared. Go to readyforwildfire.org if you have any questions about what prepared means. I ask you to stay alert to your surroundings. Know when you need to leave. Have a plan, prepare your bag, contact folks outside of the area, be ready to leave. No 2 ways out in the dead of night if it comes to that. If you need to leave early, if your sixth sense was just said, if that tingling on the back of your neck says I need to leave, then please do so. Do not wait to be told to leave. I want to thank you for your patience. Always, the #1 priority is the safety of the public and those who are fighting these fires on the front lines. Your cooperation is much appreciated. I know many of you listening today have been evacuated, or friends and family have been affected by the evacuations. We are working hard to get you back home as quickly as possible. I know it's stressful. We're all in this together. It's been a long haul, and it's going to be a long haul ahead. So be patient, be ready to go, have a plan, and we'll get there. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Jones. Now I'd like to invite up our incident commander, Chief Cavanaugh.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you for joining us this morning. I'm going to start out with what I'm going to try to do every day and give an update on some statistics and numbers that we have here for the LNU Lightning Complex. As of this morning, from our 209 that we put out in the morning, we're sitting at 341,243 acres with 17% containment on the entire complex that we have right now. As we move into the fires themselves, in Napa and Lake County, the Hennessy fire is sitting at 287,811 acres at 17% containment. Moving down over into Sonoma County, the Walbridge fire is at 51,072 acres. We are moving from 0% containment on the Walbridge to adding in 5%. The goal is on the Walbridge is to have containment moving up every day as we have more resources that are occurring. I'm going to talk about that a little bit here as we get into the briefing with the resources and the operational plan moving forward. The Myers fire, we are feeling optimistic about that fire as well. It's sitting at 2,360 acres and 70% contained. And we're feeling good about what is happening over on the Myers fire. As far as structures damaged and destroyed, we have 845 structures destroyed as of this morning, and damaged structures are 231. We have ongoing damage assessment that takes place. It's not something that I've talked about in the past. This doesn't happen overnight. It takes time to make sure we get those accurate numbers. We're working in multiple counties, and we're making sure we want to get those right numbers, and also working through our county agencies for those structures that are being accounted for. As moving on for resources today, we're currently sitting at 1,704 personnel as of this evening. So as you can see, the last few days, we're starting to get those increase in personnel that are coming into the incident. We're very grateful for that. We're sitting at 233 engines, 33 water tenders, 11 helicopters, 15 hand crews, and 37 dozers that are in there. Part of those engines that are in here, also, as the governor was here the other day talking about outside agencies and outside resources that are coming in. For us here, we have 15 engines from the state of Washington, and we have 25 engines from the state of Oregon. We are very grateful for them to be here. I met with them this morning and appreciate their help down here in California as we move and battle on these fires. Something else that has occurred here in the last day and a half as well. Between the LNU complex and the complex in Santa Clara, we're sitting roughly around 680,000 acres that have been burned between those two complexes. Right now, both of these fires are sitting at number 2 and number 3 as the largest incident in the state. To have both of those going on at the same time is saying something that should, it gives us the magnitude of what has happened here in the last week here in the state. Those are very large incidents that we have. Overall, in all jurisdictions, there's been 1.3 million acres have been burned here in California in recent time. For CAL FIRE alone, 96% of all of our engines from our entire department are engaged in fires. We're relying heavily on our cooperation. We keep talking about cooperation. It's just not one single department that has to battle these fires. It's also those engines when they're out of their stations. We have to have other engines that come in and staff behind the station. We still have our everyday calls that every jurisdiction, doesn't matter if it's CAL FIRE or a local city jurisdiction, even law enforcement, they still have the calls that they have to answer every day. 911 calls do not stop, so we're very happy and thankful for those jurisdictions that are helping. Weather, it's been a lot of talk about weather. The weather that's coming through, the predictions, we have good folks that are looking at those predictions. We put plans in place if we do get hit with lightning throughout the entire area. The main key that's going to be with the weather is, if we do get lightning, is getting on the new starts. So if we get new starts, we've got identified resources and aircraft and so forth that we'll have to get in and try to knock down those fires as quickly as we can. The last thing we're going to need anywhere, not just here, but anywhere in the state, is new fires that take off. That'll be another strain on resources. So with that, for the public, especially here on the LNU complex in the 6 counties that we're working in, if we do get a new start, we have to pull resources. That is very difficult to do, but we have to do it. We have to make sure we do not get new starts up and running on us. We've made it a goal to try to do that operationally. The operations folks have plans in place to do that with the local unit here as well, how we're going to do that. That's all been set in place. So out to the public, if you do see resources moving quickly, being pulled off, that's a possibility because we have to get on those new starts as they come up. Evacs and repopulation. Evacuations are continuing in certain areas of the entire incident. We're looking at today, this evening, depending on what the weather does with us, if we get those outflow winds from these thunderstorms that possibly come through, and the change in the weather that we had yesterday from the south to southwest flows, we're looking at those evacuation maps. We have a good team that's been put in place to just deal with evacuations and repopulation. I wish I could take a camera over to a couple of the big tents we have and see the maps that have been made. The maps are so big, you can crawl up in the middle of the tables to those maps, and those are just for evacuation and repopulation. As I've been saying from day one, when we do evacuations, it is priority to start talking about repopulation. We're starting today, yesterday, we're starting to get folks back into their home, and that's a priority. But we have to do that in conjunction with the utilities as well. So between all the utility companies, the local sheriffs, LEs, fire, the community, the counties, working together to make sure those areas are good to get people back into their homes. Cooperation, the only way we can do this, and I'm going to keep saying it, cooperation or communications. We're in a large area, it's a huge geographical area, multiple counties. The cooperation has been tremendous, and we have to continue to build those relationships. We have to continue to work together. That is the way we mitigate these incidents, especially large incidents that we have right now. As we keep saying, the impacts to these areas over the last multiple years that they've had, it's something, it really is. For the folks and all the folks that live here, they live and breathe this every single day in the summertime. And it's been devastating over here for years. So the cooperation with all the agencies is the key for us to mitigate and move forward. We want everybody to get back into their own normal lives. So with that, I appreciate these meetings. It's important for everybody to tune in. If you have questions or need updates, please tune into these. We're going to do these every day, and we're continuing to do them every day till at 11 o'clock until there's not a need. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. At this time, we do have a few minutes if there are a couple questions. Yes.
We've already seen an influx of support, technical and personnel. Is there any possibility of more support, particularly air support?
That is continuing throughout the entire state, and as we mentioned, this fire or this complex right now is at the top priority. So additional aircraft will continue to come into this area, as well as be available if we do get any new incidents. And I'll have the incident commander elaborate on that as well.
I'm sorry, was the question on related to aircraft?
All support, particularly aircraft, but ground personnel.
So back to aircraft. How aircraft is done, our fixed wing aircraft in the state, they're released, they get reordered every single day. So it would sure be nice if I could say, as incident commander, I want a VLAD or a 747 or a DC-10 and RS-2s, and they're just mine. I get to keep them every day. That would be great, but we can't do that. So when we order aircraft, they're prioritized throughout the entire state. So every day we put in our orders for operationally for what we need for aircraft. Doesn't mean that we get to keep those aircraft every day. When we have new fires start, like I've been talking about, those aircraft become priority. We would have to, if we get fires tonight that start, we're gonna have to pull aircraft, they're gonna get released. And one of the reasons for that is life safety. It's the priorities. But we put those orders in. The last couple of days, talking about aircraft, last couple of days we've had an inversion. It's been difficult to fly. The aircraft can't get off the helibases, they can't get off the airports that they're at to fly, and they definitely can't get over the fires to fly. So as soon as we get good clean air over the incidents, those aircraft get reordered and they go right back to work. So that's a balancing act. That's one thing when there's not good clean air like there was this morning. We were up flying up on the Walbridge and over here on the east zone, but they had to shut down due to the inversion. We're trying to get back up and fly now. As far as overall resources, we have those orders and we're starting to see them come in. The folks out watching on TV, you can't see the room we're in, but we're in a very large hall. The first couple days, there was just a couple people down here in front of me. Now in the morning briefings, it's clear to the very back of the hall. So that's encouraging. So that's where we're at with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Is there any other questions? Oh, yes.
Is there a list of evacuation centers?
Yes, within an update sheet, I'll be happy to hand you one as soon as this is over. It's also included in our updates that are sent out in the morning and the evening. Okay, at this point, what we'd like to do is invite our Spanish interpreters up to give us an update for our Spanish population. Sergeant Valencia and Officer Lopez, if you could come up, please.
Buenos días, Sargento Juan Valencia, portavoz del Departamento de Sheriff del Condado de Sonoma. Les quiero decir que no tengo mucha información ahora para ustedes. Tuvimos el incendio, creció a 5,072 acres con 5% contenimiento. Ese es el incendio Walbridge. Tenemos más de 1,700 bomberos peleando el incendio. En el parte de la ley no tuvimos mucho, la noche estaba tranquila. No tenemos nuevas evacuaciones o advertencias que van a salir. Continuamos patrullando las zonas de evacuación. La cosa es que queremos proteger esas áreas. Tenemos más de 100 oficiales patrullando las áreas para que personas no se entren. Hemos arrestado a una persona por entrar a una área de evacuación y lo arrestamos y fue a la cárcel. También esta noche están diciendo que vamos a tener una tormenta eléctrica. Lo que estoy diciendo es que es peligroso eso. Si pasan otros incendios, lo que van a tener que hacer los bomberos es mandar aviones y más bomberos a tratar de pelear ese incendio si empiezan. Es lo que tienen, es lo que está en peligro en el condado de Sonoma ahorita. Les quiero decir que los sigan en las redes sociales, en Facebook, Twitter y en Instagram. Todo allí está en inglés y en español y toda la información. Si tienen preguntas, los pueden dejar comentarios allí y les damos la información. Les quiero decir que muchas gracias, que se cuiden y gracias por el apoyo.
Buenos días, soy el oficial Custodio López con la Patrulla de Caminos de California. Aquí, como les informó mi compañero, el mensaje ahorita que queremos que salga es que hoy hay una advertencia de bandera roja. Entonces ya habló de la tormenta de relámpagos que va a estar pasando por el día hoy en la noche. Les queremos dejar saber a todas las personas que están en estos 5 condados donde están siendo afectados dado a los incendios, que estén listos, por favor, que tengan sus cositas, que es algo bien importante, que si se comienzan otros incendios, que nuestros compañeros, los bomberos que están aquí, como ya dijo mi compañero, 1,700 bomberos, tienen que sacar ciertos de los incendios que ya están pasando para mandarlos para que ya no se comience otro. Que todos, por favor, estén atentos, estén listos para si reciben ya sea una llamada o reciben algo por nexo, algo que sea en su área para dejarles saber que tienen que salir. Toda la información es del incendio aquí, el Hennessy, han quemado más de 287,000 acres que se ha quemado y está al 17% contenido. De las estructuras destruidas han sido 845 y dañadas 231, y como sabemos esos números van a seguir incrementando mientras tengan a nuestros compañeros de CAL FIRE, a esas personas que están agarrando toda esa información para nosotros. Pero el mensaje clave, por favor, ahorita es en el cual van a ver estas tormentas que van a estar pasando el día hoy en la noche. No están esperando la lluvia, como dijeron nuestros compañeros, sino los relámpagos. Van a estar listos, van a estar monitoreando todos, pero todos nosotros tenemos que hacer nuestra parte, ya tener nuestras cositas, y como dijeron nuestros compañeros de CAL FIRE, ya tener unas 2 o 3 rutas si tiene que salir, especialmente si vive en las áreas rurales, porque cuando lleguen estos incendios se caen los postes, pasan diferentes cosas para que se pueda salir. Por favor, les estamos pidiendo a todos que tomen esto todo en la seriedad. Ahorita estos incendios que está pasando, tengan sus cositas listas en caso, Dios no quiera, que no vaya a pasar nada hoy en la noche, pero por favor, está esa advertencia de la bandera roja hoy en la noche. Muchísimas gracias.
Thank you. On behalf of the incident for watching today, this concludes our daily update, and we will have another one tomorrow at 11 a.m. Thank you.